Thank you, Margaret, for kind of introducing that. So, as she said, I'm going to talk all local. Local roads, local bridges, local wetlands, local funding as much as I can. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Local Road Improvement Program, created in 2002. At that time, there was an issue. The issue was we don't have enough money for our local roads. How do we address it? Well, we're not passing a transportation bill at that time. Is there a way that we can get more funding to the system and not just state aid cities? So, Local Road Improvement Program was created. Any local agency that has a road can compete for these funds. Anytime the legislature puts money into the program, there's a solicitation, split between counties, state aid cities, small cities, and townships. They all compete against each other. And those are to address safety, mobility, and deterioration of roads on those local systems. So, before we get into the history of the program here, I'm going to talk to them and give you some examples of what some cities and counties and townships have been doing to, since the bonding bill didn't pass, address the transportation issues that have been going on. So the first one we have here is they've been doing less with less. This is your patchwork quilt paving job out here. In about 30 years, that road will be done. This is the decisions that local agencies are making. Do we do less? Do we do less paving? Do we do less maintenance? Do we convert from a reconstruction to a reconditioning project? Is it that Band-Aid type of project that we need to do? I was a traffic engineer. I would have loved to put this sign up sometimes. You're not going to see this sign up out there, but what you're going to see is you're going to see a load posting on a bridge, road restriction, a weight restriction on a road. So instead of a trucker going from point A to point B, that trucker is going from A to C to F to I to get back to B. So it becomes a mobility issue on the transportation system. They're accepting it. This is the Kitson County Community Pool. It's just on the roadway system. This is part of the decisions that are going on with lack of funding. So, we look back in the program for the past 10 years just to get an idea of the funding that's put into the Local Road Improvement Program. What you'll see here is the blue portion of these bars. Those are the state bond funds. The red portion are other construction funds, so that's state aid, local dollars, whether that's local transportation taxes, local levy, assessments, etc. And then the green is the engineering and construction administration. This doesn't include right-of-way at this point. So if you combine these totals across these past 10 years, we talked about this, for every dollar of state bond funds, there's about $3 in other funds. I would take that investment many, many times. If I gave you $1 and said you're going to give me back $3, I'll take it every single time. So basically what that is every construction project, a quarter of it is funded by state bonds, the other 75% comes from somewhere else. Let's talk a little bit about the local bridge replacement program. This was created back in 1976. This one's been out there a long, long time. It's been a very successful program, one that local agencies rely on and utilize a lot. We have about 16,000 bridges on the local system. That's about 80–85% of the bridges that are out there. About a little over 10% of them are deficient. So we have quite a few on the system that have needs. Similar to the local roads, the engineers are getting a little more creative and to solve their problems. A little lower on the maintenance side, giant roll of duct tape. Go strap it up. Duct tape can fix almost anything out there. Here's one. One person at a time over the river. Why go through the mountain when you can go over it? These are the challenges. The issue here is you can take care of people. What do you do with freight? Who's got the semi? Who's going to throw the semi over? So it's a real issue out there. Local agencies are looking at these and going, how can we keep these systems running? Similar to the local road, the local bridge program, we have 10 plus years showing up here. And you can see every year that money gets in this program. There's a lot of projects, a lot of bridges that get done. A lot of important ones in each of the communities that are out there. And so you see a lot of red. I mean, a lot of red is local and federal dollars going into this program because of the state bond funds that are helping kind of get it going, get them out the door. This is very similar to the local road improvement program. About $1 equates to $3 of other funding coming to these projects. Right now, we have 155 plans that have been approved by our office or in queue to be approved. That's 155 bridges that could go out the door next construction season. They have about $35 million in bond requests. Another matching of that, about 33. That doesn't include the engineering, the right-of-way, the other things associated with it. So, the bonding bill is passed tomorrow. We have about this many projects that can almost be ready to go, shovel ready. Bigger list that we get from counties and cities, there's about 1,000 bridges that bridges and counties have identified as a funding priority. We go back, there's about 1,700 that are deficient, so this fits within that range. You start doing the math there, and that's a pretty big number to fix all those bridges, $500 million. So the need is definitely out there. Margaret asked to talk a little bit about the local road wetland replacement program. This is one of those programs that's a little bit behind the scenes. It's not really known. It's not, it's not a thing out there that I'll say generates votes, but it's an important piece of project delivery. So this was created back in 1996. A local agency has a reconstruction project. There are wetland impacts to it. They submit those wetland impacts to the Board of Water and Soil Resources. Bowser has general obligation funds, bond funds appropriated through the legislature. They have wetland credits in a wetland area that is a good wetland area. They go out and buy those credits, provide good wetland habitat. The local agency gets their permits. Back when this was created in 1996, this was the model for permit streamlining. This is a very, very good program supported strongly by the counties and cities. No bonding bill this last session. Bowser's running out of money for this program. December 2nd, which is about 3 weeks from now, Bank Area 4, Bank Area 6 will be closed. So we have Metro, north and south from there a little bit, and then up, middle, west. Those local agencies are now in a pickle. You have a project that's being ready to go, relying on the wetland impacts to be mitigated through bond funds. You now have a decision to make. Do I go out and pay for private credits somewhere within that bank service area? Do I mitigate on site? Do I delay the project? Do we hold off on it? Do we wait for another year? Do we scrap it all together? If we pay for it out of our own funds, we're likely taking transportation dollars away from another project. So that has that trickle effect in there. So this is one, like I said, it's behind the scenes, but it's an important one for project delivery for cities and counties. Local option sales taxes, we have 4 main ones on this slide here. This was taken from AMC's website. We have the wheelage tax, the local option sales tax for Greater Minnesota. We have the local option sales tax for transit only, which is the county's transit improvement board tax, and then the aggregate materials tax. What you will see, any one of these counties that has a color on it, for you county commissioners in here that are looking out there, you see your county as a color, you took a vote. You took a vote at some point to say that transportation is important to you and your community. That's not an easy vote. It's not an easy discussion. But you prioritize that to help address the funding need. And that funding need may be coming because there's a lack of funding at the state level, the need is growing, whatever it is, but you made a tough decision to impose that tax to support your transportation system. Whether that's highways, roads, bridges, transit, whatever it is, that's not always an easy discussion to have amongst your your peers. So Mark was up here talking about MnDOT's funding, gap versus need. The advantage that Mark has is that he has one agency. It's a big agency, it's got a lot of moving parts, but he's got one agency. It's hard for me to come up here and tell you what the gap is versus the need because there's 87 counties, there's 148 state cities, 706 small cities, over 1,700 townships. So it's hard to aggregate that all up into what's the gap. TFAC did their report, I think we're all familiar with it. Counties, state aid system, and the county road system was about $450 million a year for each of those. That's a big number. The person from, what's the guy's name? Commissioner? Yes, Pennsylvania, thank you. I blanked on it. He talked about $1 million a year. That's over $1 million. That's over $1 million per day. I'm sorry, he said $1 million per day. This is over $1 million per day for these different systems. So it's hard to aggregate it from this level, but looking at Mark's slides, the same thing that's going on within MnDOT is going on at the local level. Inflation is eating away the funding that's being generated. Lastly, Mark talked about the construction projects that are out there. We just pulled out of that state transportation improvement plan what we would call the major projects for the counties and cities in the different districts. So whether it's a $1 to $2 million project, 2 to 5, or greater than 5 across each of those districts out there. So that varies amongst each of those districts. Typically for the locals, if they got a project this big, they got federal dollars on it. So if you're seeing a number out here, this is probably one of the largest projects that each of these entities has within the city or county. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.